Today we're swapping it up. I went to my first store event at Mox. It was standard night. How long have I been playing standard, you ask? 5 days. So we sent it. Trevor's going to be asking the questions today. I apologize now for any light issues. This is daytime. Normally we are goblins and we record at night. But you know what? New backgrounds for both of
New,
us.
yep, new backgrounds. Got
Check
some
that shit.
playmats hanging up.
Hell yeah. I got some codexes and shit and some dope ass magic comic you gave me. But that's beside the point. Go ahead, Trevor. Take it away.
All right, it's your first event.
Hmm.
What were you expecting going into it?
What was I expecting going into it? I expected to be absolutely rolled in every one of my matches. Um, I have been playing Magic for probably like a year now, but it's primarily been Commander, and I'm still learning a lot of that. I'm getting better in knowing like interactions with my board state, right? Triggers that are happening. But Standard is very different. It's like a lot more fast paced. You get four of whatever cards that you're running. So yeah, as someone that just built their deck a couple days ago, and then we just tweaked it after the event, um, I did not expect good things, but it did better than I thought. And it really was because I just beat you and Pat. So
That
stonks.
that's 2 wins though.
Exactly out of 4 rounds.
Yeah, that's 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to keep track of your win loss ratio now, so you can have your percentage.
I'm good. I don't need to see that. It's like my KDA and like shooters. We don't look at that. All right. So long as we're having fun, that's all that matters.
Yeah, there you go. What was your favorite part of the event?
My favorite part of the event. Um, I think what I liked about the event was the atmosphere. It's always a limb to go out on for people when you go to a store event or you go to like a convention or something, right? You're in an environment where everybody shares the same subject matter as you, be it if it's magic, if it's Warhammer, if it's cosplay, anime, you name it. It's kind of one of those, are you going to run into like gatekeeping? Are you going to run into somebody that thinks they're better than you? And whenever you go and you have like this expectation that you're going to be blown out of the water, and that's not the case, and it's more of a welcoming environment, it's really, really nice, right? And that's exactly what I think like board games should be, especially the community itself, no matter what it is. It's like we're all nerds that like to either flick cards, roll dice, or move like little miniatures across the field or whatever. So yeah, I liked the environment. Everybody seemed like there was people that knew each other and then people that didn't. And for us being people that didn't know people, they were all, they were nice enough. They weren't complete assholes. I probably had some things go over my head that were not great towards me, but I didn't know it at the time. So that's all that matters.
Yeah, there you go. What was your least favorite part of the event? Noah asked you your favorite. Let's swap it up. Let's see the good. Let's see the bad.
My least favorite. We talked about it afterwards, and I talked to my roommate Alex Sasha. He plays Magic with us too. Originally, I thought it was a control deck that I went against. That was red white. It was a mill deck, and I got shut down. It did control things, but later when you kind of explained it to me, it was the fact that the judge was behind me, because granted we had judge questions, and this was the first person that I was playing against that was a stranger. So I made a lot of misplays, like some rookie ass misplays, even for someone that's been playing Commander.
Happens.
um but what was awkward is that the judge behind me was like, oh, she's playing the Bant enchantment deck, which is cool if you want to talk about my deck, but not like while you're in the vicinity of me and my competitor and we're actively playing.
Hmm.
And Sasha's response was, is so long as they're not talking about the cards that you have in your hand and the way that you should play things, then it's not like that big a deal. But it was still additional information given to my competitor, especially when I was trying to ask them about the deck that they were playing. And I was like, oh, you're playing these colors. And they're like, as far as you can tell, I'm playing these colors. I'm like, I don't have as much information as I was hoping for. Even like in a manner of, hey, I might want to play that deck in the future. Again, they now know I'm playing Bant and I'm playing enchantments. So it was really awkward. And I didn't
Yep.
realize until you said it, right, that judges probably shouldn't be doing that. And it is in a casual environment. So it's like no harm, no foul. But it's
I
something that
mean,
I will probably be aware of in the future.
Yeah, you're also still playing for prizes. Like, granted, you're not there to just win the prizes.
Right.
Your husband, on the other hand,
He did.
monster,
He was.
monster,
If I hadn't beat him, he would have gone undefeated.
playing some infect, toxic bullshit.
And everyone's like, "What is that?" As he's being a goblin downstairs, I can hear him screaming about something.
I don't even know what he's playing. He's probably playing a shooter game.
Nothing like getting kicked out of your own bedroom mid VR game because your wife's like, "Hey, I'm going to do recording." And he was so nice to be like, "Okay," and just go downstairs with his meta. So,
Was there anything that you learned while playing at the event that you can improve on as a player?
yeah, slow down. That was inevitably how I ended up beating Pat. Because when we play at home, it's a slower pace. It's a different environment, right? We're not on a time restriction, and standard is really, really fast. And I expected people to be going fast. And one of the things that I missed while I was playing against Pat was I looked up to the screen that has like everybody's names and what they're scoring, and there was a time sheet. And I didn't really look at the time. I just saw that someone already went 2-0 in their game. And Pat and I literally Pat, I think, mulliganed, and we were literally starting round 1. And so I sort of rushed him, and that wasn't the appropriate response. I got a talking to about that. But it was definitely slow down. And when I was playing against the control deck and I was nervous, I was making a lot of misplays. By the time that we went into our third round, I kind of realized I had slowed down and I had breathed, and I was like, you know how to be doing this. Especially, I swapped my sideboard out to giving myself some counter spells. Not the counter spell, because that's not legal, but counter spells. Which was negates. But it's one of those, I slowed down. I knew that I needed to be playing, like, I know how to play Magic, so why am I stressing the hell out? So I was choosing the appropriate things to negate, trying to find the right opportunities to do that. And I noticed once I started to slow down and I thought about these things, my opponent changed up his play style as well. And so I think that benefited me. Is like, it's supposed to be a comfortable environment. Yes, you're playing like an in-store with strangers and for prizes, but at the end of the day, it's still Magic, and you're just there to have fun. So,
Did the tournament results surprise you?
yes. Mainly in the fact too. So you kind of had to explain it to me, but I went 2-0-2, right? Is where you don't have a tie, or is it 2-2-0?
2-2-0.
2-2-0.
2 losses, or 2 wins, 2 losses, 0 draws.
Yeah, so I went 2-2-0. Again, I won against you, I won against Pat, and then I lost against my competitors. My last round was really close, though. We did end up playing all 3 rounds, and they clutched it at the end, so good job. But yeah, so at the end, there's like that tally, right? It scores you 1 out of 15 out of everybody that played based off your points and stuff. And I was really surprised because Pat came in 5th. That wasn't a surprise to me, right? Because he would have gone undefeated. But I came in 7th and you came in 9th. And I did not expect to be like the 7th rank out of 15 people, especially by just being 2-2-0. So that was really cool. I felt pretty good about that.
You did better than your boy.
Yeah, I did better than the person that taught me. And you mistaught me because I did a misplay with the.
It's fine.
With the what is it? Enduring Vitality.
Enduring Innocence.
Yeah, it doesn't see itself. It sees others.
I thought it saw itself. It's fine.
But yeah, I thought that was really surprising.
What was your hardest matchup that you played against?
The control deck.
You think 100%. The control deck?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was definitely the control deck. The other person that I played against, they were playing an Atraxa deck. That one, at least I stood a chance because they did have to take time to be able to either mill themselves it and then pull it out of the graveyard, or to pay enough mana to be able to play their big creatures. The control deck, I felt like I didn't stand a chance. And whenever I thought I had a moment to do so, my stuff was getting wiped. I was trying to do like Sheltered by Ghosts and stuff, and it just wasn't happening. Either the Jace wasn't staying on the board long enough, or I wasn't having a creature on the field long enough. So that was really rough because there was nothing I could do.
It happens. Would you do it again?
Yeah, I probably would do it again. I actually we tweaked the deck. It's no longer a Bant. It's still playing enchantments, but I realized they started to be top decking a lot, and that was stupid awkward. And I like drawing cards based off of my Quasar deck and my Nekuzar deck. So we tweaked it, and it I don't know if it feels better because we played it at home, and it seems like it runs fine. So I'd be curious to take it and test it, and then I have thought about building another standard deck to see whether or not that fits my playstyle. But I mean, right now, none of the meta decks really like spike my interest. The red prowessness isn't really my playstyle. Um,
You'll probably see some standard changes in February whenever Aether Drift comes out.
yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I would go play again. I'm not expecting my decks to be any good at that time, but I feel like the people that did really well at standard are the people that have been playing it for a while versus me that's been playing it for, a week. So it's to be expected that I don't feel super confident in my decks, but they've had enough time to play their decks for one, and two, not maybe be playing just whatever MTG Goldfish is saying it's hot at the time. They're able to tweak their decks accordingly to their play style and what interests them, and not have to just go off a list. So
yeah. Did you prefer playing with the multiple copies of a card versus having that singleton that Commander has?
I like both for different reasons. I like having multiple copies to be able to do the interactions, especially with my enchantments. I think that's really cool. It makes it a lot easier for that deck to move a lot faster. Commander, it moves much slower. The downside, I think, is when you're playing against somebody else and there is a card that's a problem, right? And you get rid of it. And Commander, for the most part, it's gone unless they have some way to bring it back from like the graveyard or something. In Standard, you will see it again, probably, most likely. In one way or another, you will see it again. And then it's like, fuck, why is it back? Why does it have to be back? That happened with the Jace a lot. I think the guy was playing like 3 Jaces or something like that. And the minute one was gone, there was another one. I'm like, why? Why are you here?
Yeah. I think that deck plays 4 Jaces and
Gross.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Just mill 15, a fourth of your deck.
Gross. But yeah, I personally liked playing with 4 of the same cards. It gives me a chance to also, it's training me to appropriately play cards in a specific order that is going to play off of one another, right? So like the Optimistic Scavenger, you want to play first before you're playing any sort of enchantments. Same if you have the Entity Tracker in hand, so that way they're getting triggers. And I think that in turn will help me in Commander, because sometimes I'm doing misplays in Commanders where it's like, I should have played this first instead of that, or what interacts with what on the board. That isn't just my Commander doing all of the brunt work, right? It's what else can the deck provide for it.
Do you have any advice for new players coming into Standard as being a new player yourself?
Any advice? As if I was speaking that I've been doing this for hundreds of thousands of years.
Yep, exactly.
My only advice, when you're looking at decks, try and pick something that's in your wheelhouse you're comfortable with. Don't just do what MTG Goldfish is staying as the standards. So like, don't go totally out of your wheelhouse. It's good to broaden, but make sure that you're comfortable with your deck in some degree, or you're just not going to have fun, because the people that you're playing against know their deck inside and out and know exactly what they're looking for. So it's good to know at least what you're looking at. Don't be afraid to actually go out and play. And what would the last one be? Slow down. Don't do what I did. It's not a race. You get 15 minutes per round. Standard will go fast, but take a minute to breathe, because like I said, that's where you're doing a lot of the misplays. You look a little incompetent. At least I felt like I did. So that would be my suggestions. Slow everything down just a little bit. Give yourself some time to breathe and to think. Pick cards that you know you like, and don't be afraid to go out. Because I sounded like a shut-in when we went.
You sure did.
It was
your round 2 opponent.
They probably looked at me like I was nuts. to give some backstory, so we go to sit down at the table, right? And I am playing with counters for my enchantments. And I have a box that has a shit ton of dice in it because we also play Warhammer, right? So it's got one of my Warhammer dice. I vomit them all onto the table. Some fall onto the floor. I'm trying to like shakingly put them together. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. And they're like, that's a lot of dice. I'm like, I don't need this many counters, I swear. And they're like, if I didn't know any better, I would say you're a Warhammer player. And I was like, I am. And they're like, Necrons, because I have like bright neon green dice. Is like, and sisters. And then we were playing and I was explaining that I was nervous. And I was like, I just spent like $400 on stuff to be able to play Warhammer at home so I don't have to leave my house. And everyone's like, you're not a shut-in. What are you doing?
Me literally sitting next to you. You sound like a shut-in, but I know you go out and touch grass.
Yeah, sometimes. Really only just to go touch cards in cases.
I mean, it's enough grass.
A different form of grass. That's all paper and plastic at the end, right?
It's all cardboard.
Yep.
Are you, once you get better at standard, are you going to try doing an RCQ?
Maybe. It depends on the stress levels and the anxiety that I get. Even things that I'm comfortable with in my wheelhouse. I've done like cosplay contests. I've done PC like mod contests for cases and stuff. And I feel like every time, even though I'm comfortable in what I'm doing, I get really bad anxiety. So if that simmers down and I'm able to, I think what would help me too is if I know a lot more people at the place that I'm going to.
Mm-hmm.
So making those connections, there's a possibility. I'd have to feel really comfortable with my deck. Maybe I'll start playing Pat's Toxic deck. I don't know. I think I would take that to an RCQ and make sure I don't get shot on the way out.
Standard is the RCQ format for 2025 quarter 1, 3, and 4. Quarter 2 is gonna be oh, dying. Quarter 2 is modern.
Oh, that's why. It's because it's modern. You're dying.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the $1,000 decks, and I'm like, ooh.
That's the other thing nice about standard. I feel like is like the decks weren't that expensive. They can be, especially if you're going to be playing like Shieldreds. Of course, it's going to be expensive, but I mean, to flip together a deck wasn't super expensive. I had a lot of cards because they were in bulk, and they're cards I'm not running in like my commander decks. Yeah. Oh, I've touched a lot of bulk the last couple days. Boy, howdy.
We're working on it.
But yeah, I think there is a possibility that I would maybe, I don't know about this year. I think I need to get more rounds under my belt and find where I feel comfortable in standard.
Well, I think that is it.
Sweet. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. This was a little different from what we usually do. We will be back to our normal schedule. This was just something Trevor really wanted to do because normally I'm the one interviewing everybody and giving hot takes. So if you like to leave a like or leave a comment, tell me I'm dog water. That's fine too. Go check out Hammer Talk. That's something Donnie and I have been working on. That's revolving around Warhammer. Or go check out episode 3 just came out for The Wild Beyond Witchlight for our D&D campaign. English is hard today. It's a Sunday.
It sure is a Sunday.
Posting it on a Monday. But yeah, if you guys like our content, go check out some more. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.